Social media has blurred the lines between a real relationship and a fake relationship. You need to know the difference between the two and not compare your person and not compare words and phrases that some random person, maybe that you never even met, is going to give you to make you feel supportive, and then throw that back in your spouse's face and tell them you need to be like that more. So today I want to talk about something that has come up not just in my personal life multiple times, but in the responses I've gotten from many of my clients, who especially married with kids. And that is when the woman, when your woman, when your wife does not feel supported by you, especially when compared to maybe what her friends might say. And so I just kind of want to go over a few reasons why that might be. Now, in today's world, especially, unfortunately, most families do kind of need two incomes. Okay. What I'm speaking specifically about when the woman feels unsupported is when the husband is not very vocally supportive of her going out getting a job or getting advancements at work. And in the context of today's world, it is difficult to raise a family on one income. It's not impossible. There's work at home options, etc. Now, for me personally, I was a stay at home dad. Now I worked. I had the eBay business, Amazon business, was a massage therapist. But when my ex-wife and I, when we were pregnant originally, back in 1998 is when we found out. We already knew that under no circumstances were we going to be sending our kids to daycare or anything like that. And the bottom line was that she had a little bit more earning potential than I did, not by a ton, but back then an extra couple out, extra couple dollars an hour with overtime made a big difference. So I made a decision to say I'll stay at home and I'll find something to do. And in 1999, I found eBay. I'm still doing it today. So there are circumstances like that where a couple may make a decision together, and if everybody is comfortable with it, then that's okay. But what you see overwhelmingly a lot of times these days is, maybe even though the reality of the situation is that you need two incomes, that doesn't change how men and women are wired, especially for the man. The man is always going to, for the most part, want to be the breadwinner, right? Okay, even though I stayed home, my ex-wife and I, we would flip back and forth in terms of who was making more money. Sometimes my business was doing well and I'd be making a little bit more than her. And then other times she'd be making so much money that I could just focus on whatever I was doing at home with the kids. But generally speaking, as a man, what you want is to be able to be the provider, but more than just that. And this is what gets into the reason why a husband may not say the things that sound as supportive as your friends would. I'm speaking to the women. Maybe you have male friends, female friends, whoever it is. And when you get a promotion or you get a raise or you decide to take a course or a class, you decide to put more effort into your career. Maybe your friends are like, yeah, that sounds great. You're doing great. Congratulations, all of that. And the husband might not say those things. It might be a little bit more grumble, grumble. And I've seen it over and over and over where the woman will compare the husband to the friends and say to the husband, well, why can't you be supportive like so and so? Why can't you talk to me like that? Why can't you say those things? Well, it's a very easy answer for that. Man wants to be the provider. The man wants to be the man in the relationship, right? We want to be the ones, okay, we're going to work, we're doing all of the things, we're taking care of the house and the family and all of that. And in a traditional sense, you would like your woman to be able to not have to work, or if she does have to work, to not be able to work so much to the point where she's unable to, at that point, fulfill what her feminine obligations are. As the man, we want nothing more than to fulfill what our masculine obligations are. So when our wife has to take on an extra job or has to take on a bunch more responsibility at work, there's two things at play here. Number one, internally, that's a reflection of our inability to make enough money to support the entire family. Women fail to recognize that. And the second part to that is the difference between what your friend might say to you and what your husband might say to you is, well, at the end of the day, when you're exhausted and you're too tired to either have sex or cook dinner, or you're too tired to even just have a conversation where you're energetically engaged, at the end of the day, when the woman is unable to do any of those things that the man would like to do with her, it doesn't have any effect on her friends. Your friends, ladies, are not the ones that feel the negative effects of you having to go to work, or you wanting to go to work, or you working 12-hour days, 5 days a week, and you come home and you're exhausted. Your friend is able to say you're doing a great job, and maybe you are doing a great job at work, but they're able to be supportive because it doesn't affect them. It doesn't have any effect on their night, on their relationship, on their wants, desires, and needs. Maybe they ask you out for a girls' night out on Friday night, and you're like, "Oh, I'm too tired." But that's not generally a big deal, right? Your husband, on the other hand, if you have to work all the time, and then 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock comes at night, and you've got zero energy for him, whether it's sex, just sitting and talking, whatever it is. If you have zero energy for him, well, that is why he's not going to feel all happy, happy, joy, joy when you start talking about taking on more responsibility at work, getting promotions, these types of things. A man is generally going to be like, oh, I guess that just means I'm going to have to pick up more things around the house here. Now, of course, some women might say, well, it should be even 50-50. And I don't necessarily disagree with that. However, if one person is doing so much that they're unable to get any connection time with the other person, well, nobody's going to like that. When I was a massage therapist, the overwhelming majority of my clients were female. And of those clients, I would say 99% of them had the complaint that their husband worked too much. He was never home enough. Hmm, interesting. It's almost like we expect that of the men, and we kind of just overlook where that kind of sounds not very supportive, doesn't it, ladies? If you're complaining that your man is at work too much, and he's not able to do things around the house, or he's not able to do things around, with the kids that he would want to do, but he's just too exhausted. And you're complaining to people, he's never home. He's never there. He's too tired. We don't have sex. We don't go out. We don't do any of these things. That somehow is accepted. And it's not looked at as not supporting your man, but it's looked at why is the man not supporting the woman's emotional needs at this point? But now you flip the scales. If the woman has to start working and she's working 8, 10, 12-hour days, 5, 6 days a week, and the man just wants a little bit of companionship at night and she's just too exhausted to do it. Well, suddenly now, not only is the man supposed to accept that she's too tired to do it, but now we're also supposed to be supportive of your desire to go outside of the house and do something that causes you to not have the energy to engage with the relationship. Now, that point can be discussed amongst each couple, right? There's a balance that each couple can reach. But the hard part, the part where I feel like men are wronged, is when women compare how the husband talks about it versus how the friends talk about it. Your friends are not affected by your long workday at 8 o'clock at night, right? Your friends might be in a completely different relationship with somebody else. And when they go home, maybe they're getting their emotional, physical, spiritual, energetic needs met by their person. But when you go home, maybe you're not able to meet your husband's needs because you've worked too much. Now, it's understandable that you don't have that energy. Men, we totally understand that. We totally get you worked all day. I get it. That's fine. But then you have to not compare how we talk to you versus how your friends talk to you, because it's two completely different worlds. The effect that your exhaustion and your full time job has on your husband is far different than the effect that it has on your friends. And the damage done to relationships by comparing how those two different people might relate to you, as you know, in terms of how your job is, that's damaging. It's very, very damaging to the relationship. And now this is something that can be talked about in a broader sense in terms of social media, right? Like, you know, a woman can, generally speaking, make a post on Facebook about, in the morning, I'm off to work, another busy day, blah, blah, blah. And she will get messages of support from both men and women that are her friends. You know all of the things that will be supportive, and she will feel then supported in her work. But then when she gets home and the man 8 o'clock at night, says, "Hey, can we have a discussion? Can we have sex? Can we have some kind of intimacy here?" And you're too tired. And then on top of that, you throw in his face, "Well, all my friends on Facebook, they understand that I'm want to work, and they're not bothered by me being too tired. It's because they're not there with you." It's two very, very different relationships. And one of the most insidious things that social media has caused, and I do see this more prevalent with women towards men, but it does happen the opposite way with men towards women. But women will compare the attention that they get on social media and the comments and the support that they will get from random friends, whoever, over text, messenger, etc. They will compare that to what the husband is saying and how the husband is reacting to how she has to go out of the house and work and be all exhausted. It is one of the most damaging things that you can do to your own relationship. And ladies, last thing I'll say is just look, like I said at the beginning, look at it from the opposite point of view. It is generally accepted that the woman can complain of all the things that the man doesn't do because he's too tired from work. Very interesting. Put yourself in that man's position now. Now, put yourself in his position in the sense that, what if he was coming to you and saying, "Well, this girl on Facebook showed me support. This friend of mine says, I'm doing a good job. All these people over here are just fine with what I'm doing. Why are you not fine with what I'm doing?" The same thing applies, because they're not married to me. They're not the ones it doesn't have any effect on their life what I can and cannot do at night because of my level of exhaustion from work. Bottom line is, social media has blurred the lines between a real relationship and a fake relationship. You need to know the difference between the two and not compare your person and not compare words and phrases that some random person, maybe that you never even met, is going to give you to make you feel supportive, and then throw that back in your spouse's face and tell them you need to be like that more.